Welcome in, everybody. I'm News 8 Chief Meteorologist Eric Snitil. It is 6:33 p.m. on our Friday afternoon, and I would imagine for a lot of you, you are hearing the sound of my voice just a few minutes away from having seen me and also hearing the sound of my voice. We're piggybacking here off of our 6 o'clock newscast as we have a lot of winter weather headlines to contend with. Many of these we're dealing with right now, quite frankly. The bitter cold, the heavy lake effect snow. So what we're going to do here with this special edition of WeatherFirst Plus is offer you basically like a whole newscast here just dedicated to weather. Obviously, when you see me on TV, I get about 3 minutes to speak about things. And on a weekend stretch like this, it's very difficult to get into the nuances and the meat and the potatoes here of what is headed our way just over 3 minutes. So this allows us to have much more of an extended conversation. I'll mention here, too, conversations are best when they are two-way streets. So we've got an opportunity to do that here as well. If you've got your phone with you and you've got a Facebook page, if you log on to our News 8 Facebook page, we are simultaneously streaming this on Facebook. This is through a Facebook Live. Why would you want to do that if you're already watching me? Well, on Facebook, you got a comment section in there. And I happen to also have a phone with me, which means I can see those comments. And if you've got questions, you've got concerns, just whatever you want to know about the forecast ahead here, this is where we can have a little chit-chat with this. So let's start right into the reality of our current situation. And again, with so much going on here, I think it's best to just take this chronologically, one step at a time, what we've got now and then what we're coming toward over these next few days. The current temperature in Rochester is remarkably already down to 6 degrees. And I'll be the first one to tell you, we had some model guidance over the last few days that was driving these air temperatures down to, 5, 6, 7 degrees at this hour. And we were all kind of looking around going, all right, we see that, but is that realistic? I mean, are we really going to get that cold that fast? Well, here we are. And it's not just the cold that has been the issue here. It is quite blustery and breezy out there. You probably don't need me to tell you that, but if you've been driving, you know that especially within these snow showers, it is almost a whiteout in parts of the area here. And that's the byproduct of the cold and the quality of snowflakes. They're so dry that they get up and they move around really fast. They blow around with drifting very easy and very effectively. And that's going to be a component that I think we're going to have to rehash again with continued snow moving forward, especially into Sunday. So we factor in that wind, and all of a sudden that 6 becomes 16 below zero. That is your official wind chill number right now at the airport. It feels like 22 below zero in Wellsville, 21 below zero in Jamestown, 17 below zero in Buffalo. Now, folks, I know, and I hear about it all the time, especially on social media. Eric, it is January in Western New York. It's winter. It gets cold here. It gets snowy here. I hear you. It does both of those things. It hasn't done it a lot recently, but it absolutely does both of those things. It doesn't take away from the reality that this is very serious cold, and you've got to be smart about this. You want to make sure that, everything's charged up just in case you lose power. That's not going to be fun if you can't heat your home. You got to think about pets. You got to think about elderly. You may want to check in on them. You know the deal here. I don't need to be preaching this to you. This is all stuff that you've heard many, many, many times before. But we just want to offer that friendly reminder that is the mode, that is the tone that we're kind of taking with this, because we haven't had numbers in cold like this in some time. All right. Now let's add the lake effect component to this. We've experienced a bit of a wind shift now this afternoon. What was largely a pretty potent band of lake effect snow that was streaming almost due west to east through most of the day has now started to veer a little bit. Essentially, that west wind is now turning more northwest. As a result of that, these bands of snow are responding. Initially, the response is you get that one band to start nudging southward, which it did. And then eventually it starts breaking up into reoriented individual bands. And right now I count 3 of them. The first one on the western flank of this is from just east of Niagara Falls and then now spitting out some decent snowfall in the southern expanse of Orleans and northern Genesee counties, largely north of the Thruway, north of Batavia. Band number 2 has found a home from Rochester points off to the northwest. We're getting into Parma. We're getting into Hilton. Band number 3, which arguably is going to be the most intense one, is continuing to just batter the Wolcott area. I wish we had a live camera right now in the Wolcott region. I mean, it has to be almost a blizzard over there in northeast Wayne County with this. And fortunately, it is only northeast Wayne County with this. But it's important to bring up, there's going to be a reason with the snow maps that I show you. I got a bullseye in that part of Wayne County, and it's not just for what's coming on Sunday, but the reality that even tonight, we've been talking about this, could produce some sneaky, impactful accumulations. And with that very fluffy snow, that's where we are at right now. We do have a camera, by the way, in Sodus. This is on the Sodus Point Lighthouse, and we've turned the camera to point northward over Lake Ontario, and I think we may have lost the view from that camera. Yeah, unfortunately we did. So sometimes that camera goes in and out and appears it's going to be in an out mode. The winter storm warning that we are waiting on into Sunday is going to come from this energy here with a double-barreled wave of low pressure here. We're going to get one that takes a track like this, and then secondary redevelopment, very common with nor'easters, that gets going across the New England coastline. Very often when we see a setup like this, if you've got the cold in place, and clearly we do, this is where we start running into our own version of snowstorms. Let's talk timeline out of this here, because this is not going to be awful at all hours every day moving forward. Now, I know tonight you're going to have parts of the region where it is rough. It's very cold. We're dealing with lake effect snow. The impact is going to be limited to these areas, particularly north of I-90. For most of the rest of you, it's only very cold. That's going to be your primary headline here. Some of that lake effect snow is going to linger Saturday morning. The rest of your day tomorrow, though, I don't see issues with. It's going to be frigid. High temperatures in many cases are not going to get out of the single digits. I don't think wind chills are ever going to get above 0 tomorrow afternoon. But from a driving standpoint, as long as your car starts in the cold, you're not going to be meandering through a whole bunch of snowfall. You got errands you've got to run. I think tomorrow is going to be overall a really good day to be able to do that. Now let's talk about what, to a large degree, is going to be the main event for a lot of us in Western New York. This is going to be the synoptic snow portion of this, the widespread, the system snow portion. Snow will begin to develop here from south to north starting Sunday morning. Now, initially, it's going to be very light. So I think even through the first part of Sunday, let's say through about the lunchtime frame here, you got somewhere to be, you got to move around. I think you're still okay to be doing that, and the accumulation is going to be light and limited until we start picking this up. So as we go into the afternoon, we go into Sunday evening and through the overnight hours of Sunday, this is going to be our primary time frame of the most impactful snow for the most people, because it's not lake effect. It's going to be all of us in Western New York are under a winter storm warning for this. That snow will then hold into about daybreak before then transitioning over to more exclusively lake effect again on the backside here. Now, I want to make a few points out of timing and out of impact. Because we're in a part of the world with lake effect, a lot of us have seen crazy intense snowfall, 3-inch-an-hour snowfall rates. That's not what's going to happen here. This is going to be more of a slow and steady wins the race kind of an affair on Sunday. And the fact of the matter is going to be when this starts Sunday morning, it's not going to stop. So we don't need it to be snowing at multiple inch-an-hour snow rates. I get the sense this is going to be probably just a lot of moderate snow, maybe briefly heavy, but moderate snow over a long enough time frame all Sunday night, especially with very high snow ratios, that will still get you to the same end game conclusion of significant snowfall totals. So I just kind of want to paint the picture as best as I can. A snow map tells you what you can expect on the ground, but the visuals here of how this is going to play out and how we accomplish some of these numbers. This is the Euro model that does drive some additional lake effect into the area through the overnight. We're going to start the morning out with chills again in the ballpark about what they are right now, about 15 below 0. The main focus then becomes the south to north progression here. You see that snow starting to build in. Flurries to start, it becomes light snow, which then becomes moderate snow. It should be steady going into late Sunday and Sunday night. I got a lot of different models that I can show you, and we'll show you a few out of this. A few of them try to bring in some drier air, but the vast majority are not of that overall logic and keep this as steady moderate to locally heavy at times snowfall. You see how the synoptic snow then starts to peel away later Sunday night. What we're left with for most of the rest of Monday, which, by the way, the winter storm warnings continue through Monday, and they don't go away as it stands right now until Tuesday morning. That's because there will still be some impact from limited lake effect snow on the backside of this nor'easter. Big numbers on the snow map here, bright colors on the snow map here too. A few points, though, that I want to stress. This is not all going to fall just on Sunday and Sunday night. This is the everything, including what's falling now, including tonight, including tomorrow morning, including the stuff as the nor'easter pulls away with that additional lake effect even into Monday night. The overwhelming majority of western New York, I think, is going to end up with a foot of snow on the ground by Tuesday morning. Embedded within that, areas in maybe northern Orleans, northern Monroe, certainly Wayne County, I think the sweet spot's going to be more in line with a foot and a half. And then along the 104 corridor, like toward the Wolcott area, especially with what we're seeing right now, with how much snow is coming out of that band, it's not really that difficult for me to envision 2 feet plus being produced from that. So, yes, they're big numbers, but again, it's over the course of enough time here where it's not all just, hot and heavy. I haven't seen this model run yet. I don't even know if it goes out enough. Yeah, it looks like we do. All right, so this is the new 18Z, the afternoon run of the Euro model, and it is now just hot off the press, fresh out of the oven. So you and I will take a peek at this together, and a few features that I'm looking at here. We're right there, by the way, and I'll zoom this in time, but I want to be able to kind of assess more of a broader picture. This is the surface reflection of low pressure in there. I'm really watching the track of that. That's ultimately going to dictate and drive this. And we are still, as near as I can tell, train on the tracks here. So you see we got 2 waves of low pressure. That's the original one right in here. That's the secondary one. That's the nor'easter that starts to get going along the coast. So we're going to zoom in quick to New York, and I'm going to bring up the snowfall output here. Euro has us by Tuesday morning. These are the numbers, raw numbers. We don't go by this as gospel, but you're pushing about 1.5 feet in Rochester, close to 2 feet out there in Wayne County. I mean, this looks consistent to me. This looks in line to me. I can show you the progression here of these last few runs. You see how every run's a little bit different. The 18Z has not shifted dramatically at all. So I do not see anything within the Euro here indicative to me that we have to make any changes or do anything significant, which is, for better or worse, like it or not, a good thing. We don't want things to get crazy and things to kind of change. All right, so I'm reading some of your comments here. And again, if you're on Facebook, you can join me right now, and we'll spend a couple of minutes just reading through this. Jason says the Palmyra Highway Department ready to go. Been a challenge lately, but they got this. I believe it. And those fine folks are going to be out keeping those roads clear. They have their work cut out for them, but they always do a fantastic job. Dean says he's got the snowblower ready in Irondequoit. I'll bring that up too. This is not going to be a very dense snow. It's not going to be a heavy snow from a weight perspective. That's part of why we're forecasting so much, is because the snow is so airy and so fluffy that as the snowflakes develop, they got these little, almost like an octopus, these tentacles that come out, those sharp spikes. And without the high moisture content, they don't stick together. They remain intact and separate. So there's a lot of air in that snowpack, which makes the accumulation much more effective and much more efficient. Sean asking, will it be bad enough Sunday morning in Honeoye Falls that we should cancel church? Sean, I don't think Sunday morning is going to be that big of a deal. It's going to be snowing, but that's going to be the part of Sunday, probably the only part of Sunday, that I don't think is going to be that rough. Charlie asking, will we be okay out in Victor at noon tomorrow celebrating a birthday? Well, whoever's birthday it is, Charlie, happy birthday. And yes, I do think you will be fine tomorrow afternoon in Victor. For what it's worth for everybody, I think you're going to end up being fine to a large degree. Leftover lake effect snow around tomorrow morning. The rest of Saturday, the focus is just the very cold air. It will not, for many of you, start snowing again until Sunday morning. So it will not be a snow everywhere all the time weekend. It's a Sunday exclusive from that regard here. All right, so that's your quick update with this. We got a few more things that we got to do newscast-wise, so I don't want to go a ton longer with this, but just a reminder, we do this again, our regularly scheduled WeatherFirst Plus at 10 p.m. tonight, so I'm going to be back in this chair. We're going to have a new run of models to be able to kind of take a peek at with this, and then I'm really curious what the lake effect situation is looking like, too. Stay warm, everybody, but also stay calm with this. I know it's state of emergency for the whole state of New York. We get these from time to time. As long as you're smart, as long as you don't do anything that's going to put you in any kind of jeopardy here, drive slow, dress warm, enjoy your weekend inside with an extra blanket. Sometimes these weekends are a lot more fun, especially if you don't have anywhere to be. I'll see you again here at 10 p.m. See you then.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 on demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.